is the Revisionary Podcast with your host, Juan Carlos. The Revisionary Podcast.
Welcome to Redux, a podcast about music, by a music lover, for music lovers. I'm Van Berryman, math teacher by trade, podcaster by hobby, former radio host and production coordinator, and avid music lover. Step into Redux for deep looks into album reviews with a concise but thorough comparison of an artist's first album to their most recent and their journey to get there. Plus, top 10 lists, best ofs, and other musical inputs to get you through the day. If you like what you hear, drop a follow on Instagram at Redux Podcast and feel free to let me know there what reviews you want to hear. Come along on this journey with me, sit back, and enjoy the ride.
This is the Revisionary Podcast. Stories of all we want.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Revisionary Podcast. And it's your host, Juan Carlos. For those of you listening for the first time, the way this works is we bring on guests, usually comedians, who tell a nonfiction story about their lives in which they wish things had gone a little bit differently. Afterwards, I give them an opportunity to tell the same exact story, except this time, they can change any facts or details that they would like about the story. So, I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm really excited for this next guest, but I'm really exhausted. This past couple of months, I've been doing a lot of traveling. Like, it's just absurd. I think, let's see. I've been, over in the last 4 or 5 months, I've been in Texas. I've been to New York. I've been to Minnesota. I've been to California, I believe, twice now. And I just got back from Vegas. So your boy's exhausted. But, you know, I'm back. I'm excited. I'm re-energized. Also, in case you were wondering, I've been tested and I am COVID negative. Because I know I tell people that I travel and immediately some people become extremely concerned. But I am vaccinated and I try to be very responsible. So no need to worry about that. Your boy's negative. But here we are. It's exciting. And I'm really excited for our next guest. Her name's Laura High. And honestly, I could sit here and it would take me all day to tell you all the cool stuff that she's done. So instead, I'm just going to tell you about my favorite. She is a wonderful person to follow on TikTok. She has this like video. I'll ask her about it. She like, I don't know. She dresses up in a costume and runs around parks and she like interviews people. Like, it's a whole shtick. And honestly, like, I've heard nothing but great things about Laura. I haven't personally had a chance to meet her, but I've interacted with her online a few times. You know, we've run, I guess we know a lot of similar people. We know a lot of people in common in New York. So I'm really excited to finally get her on and sit her down and, you know, just check out her vibe. So you know what? I'm not even going to waste your time anymore. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Laura on the line. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Revisionary Podcast. And I am so excited to have you here. We have a brand new guest. Please give a round of applause for Laura.
Hi! Thank you so much for having me on.
No, of course. How have you been? What have you been up to?
I've been good. I've been busy. For right now, it has just been me and my TikTok account has really we become quite a pair. I feel like I'm in a relationship now with TikTok, and it is delightful.
Really?
Sometimes it's rocky. Sometimes we have fights. We do. We have some problems, but overall, it's a real good relationship. And I'm at Laura High Five. I do a lot of different kind of material on my TikTok. I don't know if I'm referring to my TikTok account as the correct thing. I feel like I'm saying it like those older people who say the Facebook.
Right.
Because I'm 33, so I'm old for being on TikTok.
Right.
As I have learned, because apparently, like anyone like older than like anyone born after the age of 95, after the year of 93. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
95.
I can make words.
Do you speak English?
Apparently not. And that's not going to affect me in my career of being a stand-up comedian, right? Like the fact that I have issues like stringing together sentences, it's fine. Yes, no, anyone born before the year of 95 is apparently like considered like an elder on TikTok, which gets thrown in my face every single time I open that freaking app.
It's funny. I tried the whole TikTok thing for a little bit, but I had to get off. I made a video. My fiance didn't like it, and she was like, "You shut that down now. No more."
Oh no!
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Talk about like a fail moment. Like, what was this? What did you do? Did you do prank TikToks?
No. I wish I was like creative enough to come up with those prank TikToks. Also, side note, shade to all you TikTokers out there. I don't care. I'm calling you guys out. There's no way that I'm buying that those are real pranks. The person is 100% in on them. I'm saying it right now.
I definitely think like 75% of them, the person is in on them. 75% of the time. But I do think that there are some where it was like, oh no, that was a genuine reaction. It was a genuine, like there's no way, like if that is a fake reaction, take Tom Hanks's Oscars away from him. These people deserve it.
I mean, I literally watched one where the guy had his girlfriend's mom on as his lock screen, and she was just like, take that off, and I'm not buying it. I'm telling you that she was in on it, because that would get a way weirder response if that was really what happened.
I mean, who knows? I'm gonna now have to like do a deep dive and see if I can find that one, because now I'm gonna be like, okay, like, you know, as somebody like who has a BA in theater, I'm like, okay, let's see if you had like a clear objective. Let's see your tactics. Let's see if you knew like the given circumstances. Like, let's read it. Now I'm gonna be like critiquing it.
By the way, I should have told you this before when we were trying to set this up. I like to affectionately call my guests the revisionaries. So if you want to speak directly to the revisionaries at any point, feel free to do so. But why don't you introduce yourself to the revisionaries and tell them a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Laura High. I'm a stand-up comedian. I am a TikTok content creator, which still feels insanely ridiculous that I'm saying that. But I'm so excited to send that into my college alumni newsletter. Yeah, you know, boys who didn't date me, guess who's on TikTok? And I am an actor. I do a lot of film and TV, and that is who I am. And I make a lot of different kind of online content. I make a lot of different kinds of things. The main thing that I do talk a lot about is I am a sperm donor baby, so I talk a lot about donor conception and infertility. You know, fun stuff. I'm also in the middle of going through a divorce, so I have a lot of content about that. I also have an anxiety disorder because I am from Westchester, New York, and a white lady, so of course I have anxiety.
Yeah, growing up in Westchester will do it to you.
Right? I mean, as you can imagine, because you lived in Westchester, so
I did.
You know, I didn't exactly fit the mold. And Westchester has a mold to it. And if you don't fit inside that mold, you are like an outcast. And they make sure that you know that you are an outcast. The amount of times I have been told to get a freaking nose job throughout my entire life is numerous.
Really? So you telling me you didn't own a horse and play polo in high school? That wasn't you?
No, I was the weird theater kid who learned how to do close-up card tricks because I thought that's how I'd get friends.
If it makes you feel better, I also was the weird theater kid, to the point where one day, my friend and I will never forget this, we rode the Beeline bus to every single all-girls Catholic high school in Westchester County, handing out flyers for auditions to our theater production. I did that.
I would have been like best friends with you. Where were you? I would have been so excited.
The worst part about it is I definitely probably put up flyers in your school. You just didn't see them, or you ignored them. I don't know what to tell you. We could have been friends in high school.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
So, okay. Without further ado, Laura, the stage is yours. Go ahead and tell us your story.
Okay, well, as I mentioned, I am a actor, and I am SAG-AFTRA, which means I am part of the actors union. And one of the things that you do as an actor living in New York City, trying to pay your bills in between your major auditions, is you do extra work. It's a great way to pay the bills and to just keep working. And also, you never know. There's a lot of times where you're in there as an extra, and then like you'll get bumped up to something bigger. And I really enjoy doing extra work. It's actually a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but you get to see some really cool things. And I got to do some extra work for The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt season 2, which I was so excited about because I loved the show. I'm a huge Tina Fey fan. If I got to have any dream career, it would be Tina Fey's career. I mean, amazing career. And she's so talented. Like, oh my God. So I was so excited to work on Kimmy Schmidt. So I get there and I have no idea what I'm in for as an extra. You're not really told typically what you're in for. So I get there and I meet with the PAs and I'm like, hello. And they say, you're going to be a White Castle employee. And I'm like, that sounds delightful. And so I've never had White Castle, but I was like, I can do this. It's fine. So I put on my White Castle shirt, I put on my White Castle visor, and I sit. And typically as an extra, a lot of it is just, it's a lot of it sitting and waiting. So I'm sitting and waiting for literally hours, eating my Trader Joe's peanut butter cups, watching all these incredibly like cool costumes walk by me, and I'm just like living in the magic. It's just like, it's so cool. And then there's another guy who sits next to me who's also dressed in a White Castle uniform, and I'm like, okay. And I notice I'm like, there's only 2 of us in these uniforms, so I'm like, oh, that's cool, that's nice. Maybe the camera will be on us a little bit more because maybe there's only 2 of us. That's neat. And so we sit next to each other. We do like that, that kind of like typical like extra like acknowledgement where we just go, okay.
So you do a head nod for those of you listening.
You just go like, okay. And that's it, and that's fine, and you go back to your business. Because like you leave each other alone as extras. Like the longer you do it, the more you know to like give everyone their space, let them read their book. No one really wants to talk to one another. Like just focus on yourself. Like that's really it. Because there are some crazies in extra land. There are some absolute lunatics, and we all know we don't know who the lunatics are. They may look sane, but they are not, and we just know. Keep to your own space because I don't want to talk to a crazy. So then we are called in. We are called up, and they say Laura and I can't remember the guy's name. I'm going to call him Joe. And we say, Laura and Joe, it's your turn. And I'm like, great, that's awesome. So we get up. And I'm about to like start following the PA, and then into the kind of the holding area walks Maya Rudolph.
Wow.
Oh my God, it's Maya Rudolph. It's Maya Rudolph. And she's beautiful. And she's in her purple sequin dress and glowing. And I mean, I adore Maya Rudolph. I think Maya Rudolph is one of the funniest freaking humans. And so immediately I'm just in, oh my God, it's Maya Rudolph. It's fine. I'm fine. But she just walks past me and I'm just like, I'll just bask in your passing glory. It's fine. And so then we keep walking, and then we get to the next floor, and then I turn and I see Jane Krakowski. And I'm like, oh,
whoa.
Jane Krakowski. Now, okay, I don't know how this... So Jane Krakowski is so stupid talented. I've seen Jane Krakowski live on Broadway. I saw her in Damn Yankees playing Lola. This woman, and then obviously we've all seen her on 30 Rock. We've seen her on Kimmy Schmidt. This woman is amazing. This woman is absolutely amazing. She's so talented. And we've all seen her on screen. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. I don't know how they do this. She's more gorgeous in real life.
Really?
The camera does not do her justice, which I don't know, which I didn't think was possible, because we keep stunning.
Right.
She's more stunning in real life. I still think about it. I still am like, how is that possible? How did that happen? But she is. And I saw her, and she was in this gorgeous green dress, looking amazing, just like casually just leaning up against like her dressing room door, being all Jane Krakowski with it. And oh my God, again, basking in passing glory. It's fine. It's okay. I'm living in my little like extra dream right now. And I get onto the soundstage, and they're like, shh, we're filming right now. You have to be really quiet. I'm like, that's fine. That's fine. And I lean over and I see Amy Sedaris is filming. I get to sit and watch Amy Sedaris, comedy queen legend. Amy Sedaris on a platform of her own. I just get to watch her do takes over and over again. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Amy Sedaris. It's Amy Sedaris. Oh my God. So I'm having the time of my life. I am just sitting there just going, la, 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 everything is fine. I'm just being all cute and naive, just like, this is nice. I'm like, God, how old am I at this point? I think I'm 29, so I shouldn't be like this starstruck at this point. I'm 29 years old now, but I am. And then I'm realizing, I'm like, wait a minute. Tina Fey's a producer. Tina Fey might be here. Like, so I'm looking out and I don't see her, but I'm like, ooh, maybe she, because, you know, she's a producer. She's not in it. So I was like, you know, they're not always there. But I keep kind of looking out because I keep hoping, like, maybe I'll see Tina Fey. And so they set us up for our scene very quietly because Amy Sedaris is still filming. And so we're at this counter and it's just me and Joe. And then we're going to be interacting with one person. And It's going to be some kind of whoever is like that guest star, principal role. Cool. We're going to be interacting with that person. That's great. They have their stand-in there. And for anybody who doesn't know what a stand-in is, a stand-in is somebody who is like the same height, has the same hair color, typically a similar-ish haircut and same skin tone. And what you do is while the principal is getting their hair, makeup, in rehearsal done, the stand-in is used to be lit, for the cameraman to make sure that they understand their marks. It's basically to give the entire crew a giant rehearsal so the principal can like go do their stuff. So then the principal can come in and just everybody's ready to knock it out. So I see the stand-in. I have no idea who she's standing in for, but that's neat. That's cool. She's very nice. Hello. And they basically say, okay, you're going to be a White Castle employee. All you're going to do is you're just going to hand her this little, brown paper White Castle bag, and that's all you're going to do. That's going to be it. And I'm like, great. That's simple. That's good. Neat. Awesome. Got it down. We're fine. This is going to be simple. So now I just go back to looking and watching Amy Sedaris film because ooh. And then in the producer's circle, I see Tina Fey.
No.
Tina Fey. I see her and I'm just like so excited that I get to see Tina Fey, and that's amazing. But then she starts walking towards me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
oh no.
What? Oh my God. Wait, why is she coming towards? Like literally, she's beelining to me.
Right.
And she's wearing this very, very big, bulky sweater. And then the sweater opens up and she's wearing a swimsuit. Mm-hmm. And then I put it together. Wait a minute. This stand-in has brunette hair. And she's Tina Fey's height. And Tina Fey's walking over here. I'm about to do a scene with Tina Fey. What? And I start freaking out. And so Tina Fey comes over. She's chatting with her stand-in. And she looks at me. And I'm just sitting there just not say, and she looks at me, and so she's wearing this swimsuit, and it's super weird, and she starts making fun of her swimsuit at me, like she's trying to make me laugh.
Right.
Me. Not a group of people. No, me. And she like puts her stomach on the counter going like, blah, I'm so bloated. And I'm just like, fine. I'm fine. I'm not freaking out. Oh my God. And I'm at this point, you have to remember, Maya Rudolph, Jane Krakowski, Amy Sedaris, Tina Fey. I'm done. I'm capped out. I've hit my limit. I'm just a bowl of mush now. I'm not functioning anymore. So Amy Sedaris, they call, cut, she's done. And then Tina looks at me and she's like, by the way, my name is Tina Fey. And in my head, I'm like, I know who you are. But somehow managed to get out, I'm Laura. Hi, it's nice to meet you. And I'm now just trying to compute the fact that I'm doing a scene with Tina Fey. I'm doing a scene with Tina Fey. I'm doing a scene with Tina Fey. And we need to start getting ready to film. And I'm gone. Like, my brain's just mush now. I can't function. So we start filming, and I need to hand the bag to Tina Fey. And I can't do it right. I can't do it. My timing is off. Like, I keep doing it wrong. I can't I'm somehow never doing it right. The bag falls. I am so bad at handing her a freaking bag that they cut me. They're just like, Laura, why don't you just stand off to the side? It's fine. Just let's just try it this way. They cut me. I was that bad.
No.
They cut me. I was that bad. And she was so nice to me. I must have looked like a weirdo. I went home going, I just failed in front of my hero. I just failed in front of Tina freaking Fey. And it is just like, it is my dream to work with her, be in the same room again, and be like, I don't know if you remember me, but like, this is why I have to succeed. I have to succeed at being a stand-up comic, because I have to get in the same room with her and be like, I'm so sorry I was such a goober in front of you. Oh my God. But yeah, that was my story.
First off,
I embarrassed myself and got cut in front of Tina Fey because I couldn't figure out how to hand her a White Castle bag. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it.
Okay, so I have a few things here. First and foremost,
Please.
I want to say that as someone who has done like some like on-screen stuff and nothing to that level, you know what I mean? Like you and I are not on the same level here. Sometimes when you're doing like theater or acting and the camera comes on, basic things become hard. Like I had one job. One job was to mimic a tour group, right? Just all I had to do was walk and point. Somehow that became really hard. I was like, I've never walked before in my life. I don't know how to do it. And my timing was just terrible.
Oh, yeah, no, when you start thinking too hard about walking, it's bad. Or just like, you're like, wait, how do you hold fork? How does it work? Knife no work. Like, how does this happen? Nope, it happens. It does.
So I just want to say, for those of you guys listening out there, cut Laura some slack. It's not as easy as it seems, you know? Not that you guys would be mean. What? Go ahead.
Oh, no. Anyone has the absolute right to be like, ha, you failed. Like, I should have like been at the point where I should have done better. Like, I've done this enough. I've seen enough stars. I've worked next to enough stars. This just I was on overload.
So you guys heard it here first. When you guys listen to this episode, make sure you go to Twitter at Laura and, you know, send her that meme of Milhouse from The Simpsons going,
Absolutely. I deserve it from the end of time. But if anybody can if anyone can get me in contact with Tina Fey so that that she can hear this and she can hear me say, I'm so sorry, that would be absolutely delightful, because I need to apologize for my absolute and utter gooberness.
So, okay. When you were going through this, right, you're preparing, you're watching things develop, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think it was just the Tina Fey aspect that like put you over, or was it the buildup of seeing everyone else?
I think it was a combo of both. I think it was the perfect storm. I think it's the buildup of seeing everybody, and it was Tina Fey, and the fact that I was working with Tina Fey and that I had no warning, that this was just something that like happened in a blink of an eye. And I know that like there was like more time, like I know like there was a lot of time for me to like sit and process it, but to me it all felt like it went by in like 2 seconds. Okay, so here's the cool thing though, you're on the Revisionary podcast, so let's jump into this little time machine. Let's go back in time and go ahead. I'm gonna let you retell your story. Okay, so first off, I would have gotten there, I would have gotten on stage, and I wouldn't have had as many Trader Joe's peanut butter cups as I did. That's the first thing I would have revised, because I put some pounds on by that crafty table, and so first I would have stayed away from the snack bar. Like, that would have been my first thing I would have redone. Like, we'll be honest. Wait, were you on a sugar rush? Oh, God, was I on a sugar rush? No, I eat too much sugar. My sensors are so low. But no, I would have had less peanut butter cups. But anybody who's had the Trader Joe peanut butter cups know, like, those things are bomb. Those things are addictive as hell. Like, you try and not eat them. Like, go do your best. So I would have had less crafty. And then I would have seen Maya Rudolph and been like, I would have just let it be. I wouldn't have interacted with Maya. I wouldn't have interacted with Jane, because you know what? They're working. They're good. Like, I wouldn't have done anything, but I would have gotten there. I would have paid. And as soon as I got on set and I would have been, at my little station, I would have like really just double checked and really practiced a few more times as to make sure I fully understood and really have gotten into my head what my cue was and where exactly they wanted to put the paper bag. And I would have actually genuinely practiced it a few times, just so that like it was like, okay, this is the weight, this is the size, this is how I'm going to put it down. That's great. And like I would have really rehearsed it so that I would have looked like a paper bag dropper prodigy. Like, I would have wanted to have nailed this so much that they would have wanted to hire me again. Just hand them things. Like, that's how good I would have wanted. And that's what I would have spent my time doing instead of watching Amy Sedaris be a freaking badass. Like, I should have done that. But I was too distracted. And then Tina Fey comes over, and I would have not looked as insane, because I'm pretty sure, like, I was trying to be like, but I'm sure in reality I was just okay, well, this is audio. Like, in my head, like, I thought I was like looking cool and happy and happy-go-lucky, but I'm sure in reality, like, I looked like I was on Molly. I'm sure I looked like I was having like a bad trip. And I would have been just way more chill. I would have been way more like, hi, nice to meet you, Tina Fey. I'm Laura. Nice to meet you. Awesome. I would have been just a much more down to earth, grounded. I would have not been as just entranced, just staring at Tina Fey, because that's what I was just doing. I was just like, don't look at her, don't look at her, look at her, look at her, don't look at her, don't look at her, look at her, don't look at her. Okay, is this creepy? Is this like the fact that I was calculating how many times I was just looking at her and blinking probably wasn't a good sign. So I would have again had a few breaths, because I don't think I was breathing too much.
Right.
And that would have been a big thing that I would have done. I would have focused on my breathing. And then when, like, the director was here and the director was there and we were going over everything, I would have really listened to him way more. Because, again, I think I was overwhelmed and I don't think I heard him. And I would have just really been like, okay, cutting off all emotions now. We're just focusing and we're just listening. And I would have gone, here, on this word, this is my cue, correct? Fabulous, thank you. Making sure, double checking, awesome. And I would have then taken a nice deep breath, camera would have rolled, and then I would have done it. I would have been amazing at it, and I would have been so good that they would have been like, she was so good at putting that bag down, she's now the new series regular on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
So, just so we can clarify, make sure we're on the same page, when you say series regular, do you mean they bring you back for a different part, or do you mean they keep reusing that same clip of you putting a bag down throughout different plot points throughout the show's history?
I think they would have been like, she was so convincing as a White Castle employee that we need to make sure that we bring the characters back to White Castle every single episode, and that they always interact with her, and we need to give her lines, we need to give her character development, we need to give her a storyline. Like, I am now part of the show, and you now watch the show to watch me hand Kimmy her White Castle bag.
Because she was the best there ever was.
Exactly. Like, it was so convincing. It was so amazing. Like, no one has ever handed bags to anyone the way that Laura High does. Like, it is literally on my resume. They've developed a Emmy category for me now on bag hander. I'm so good at it that they even name it the Laura High Award. That's how good I am at handing this freaking bag.
Y'all can't really see me, but I'm like cracking up. I'm tearing up. She's ridiculous. Okay.
You just need to understand how much I hate myself. That's what you just need to understand. How much I hate myself and how much I think about this every freaking day. Like, I screwed up so badly in front of like my I needed to be so good at it that Tina Fey afterwards would have been like, I never do this ever to like, just, like a one day extra, but like, you were just so good. You were just so on it. Like, we need to work together more. Like, I just get such a good vibe from you.
First and foremost, kudos to you. Thank you for sharing this story, because this has been absolutely amazing. That's first and foremost. You're hilarious. Second of all, may I share a quick story to you of a similar ilk, but not as bad?
I love how you throw that "not as bad" in there just to like make sure, like, just to pierce my heart, to like let you know,
of course.
I have a story that like is similar, but like not
we
as
are not the
horrible
same
as you, because Laura, you failed. Like, I sort of failed, but like you you really failed. Like, I'm glad. Thank you for that clarification to remind me to put me back into my place, to remind me that, like, no, Laura, like, you need to think about this a lot longer than you have, because clearly you've not thought about this enough because of how bad your story is. So, thank you. Point taken, heard. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I'm glad you feel seen.
I feel seen and heard. Thank you so much. I hate myself. This is why.
Oh my God. So here it is. You'll see why I said not as bad. It's actually not a slight at you and a slight at me, because this is a little embarrassing. I was.
Oh yeah, no, we're trying to cover up our tracks. I hear you. I see you.
Of course.
It's fine.
Of course.
Yeah, you're trying to be relatable still to me. Okay.
So I was on a plane back from I forget where I was coming from. It doesn't really matter, but it was the first time I had ever heard of 30 Rock. Right. Mm. So I watched the entire season that was available on the plane. Right? Okay. I had never heard of 30 Rock prior to this. I don't remember how long the flight. Fast forward to I'm in college, right? So this is maybe like a week after this flight. Okay. And we're having like this like career day where people come from different industries, right? And I like so like, you know, this guy's coming over, and I hear that he's one of the producers on 30 Rock. So I go over and I introduce myself, and I'm like, hey man, I love 30 Rock. I'm a big fan. It's been great. And he goes, yeah, what do you think of season 2? I was like, there's a season 2? And he goes, I thought you were a big fan and I wanted to die.
Oh my God. You remember who the producer was?
I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. It was so long ago, but I was so embarrassed.
Fabulous.
So, before I let you go, we have 2 traditions on this podcast. The first is we like to pick a charity or an organization to highlight and encourage our revisionaries to support them in any way they deem possible. Do you have a charity or an organization for us?
Yes, I do. Right now, the charity it's a nonprofit. It's right now down due to COVID, but it is going to be coming back up. It's called MIMSI International, MIMSI. And it is a fantastic nonprofit. I've worked with them for years. They had to put a stop during, right now with COVID, but I know because I've talked to the founder. It is going to be coming back soon. So MIMSI International was founded by this incredible doctor named Dr. Winifred Tovar. He is an OBGYN, and he is from Haiti. And he loves his home country. He loves the people. He loves the women so much. But unfortunately in Haiti, the mortality rate for expectant mothers is extraordinarily high. There are so many women who die in childbirth, and there are so many babies who die needlessly. And and he's an OBGYN, so what he did was he created a mobile OBGYN clinic out of a school bus. So he is able to get into all these parts of Haiti that don't really have roads, that are extremely remote, and he's able to get there and provide sonograms, HIV medication, surgeries. He's able to be there at the births, and he also trains all of these people on how to give a birth properly, how to give a birth safely. So it's a very empowering thing too. He's giving them their power back, which is absolutely incredible. It's going to be up and running shortly again. And when it is, please support them. Your support is going directly to these mothers. It is something when I headlined at Caroline's on Broadway for the first time, I gave all of my profits to MIMSI. Because I know, heck, they're going to spend the money way better than me. Like for me, I would just do lots of dumb Amazon purchases, but I knew that the money that I made would genuinely go to save somebody's life.
You know what? I'm going to do something I've never done on this show, and you can hold me to this. I'm so inspired by how passionate you are about this that I feel a little touched. I'm not going to lie to you. So why don't you give me the link, and I will I will pledge $100 to this charity out of my own pocket, because I can tell that this really is something that's important to you, and I'm a little touched right now.
Yeah. No, oh my
Yeah.
That's gonna mean the world. I'm going to, you know what? And while you do, I'm going to text Freddie, who is the founder, who is the head of OBGYN, and I'm going to tell him that because he's going to be so excited because he was so hurt and so upset that Mimsy has had to stop. But hang on, I'm going to get everything for you to do that.
Yeah, and we'll put it in the show notes. And what I'll do is after, once we say goodbye, we'll coordinate, and we'll send it right now and make sure that we can get this done.
Yes, so we'll coordinate everything.
Yeah,
and what I will be doing is because through my TikTok, I am going to be designing merch.
Sure.
And so part of my proceeds are all going to be continuing to go to Mimsy again once it's up and running. Right now, it seems like they're just not taking donations because the nonprofit is not running at this moment.
Sure.
But I do know that it is in the process of getting back on its feet. But I will give you all of the social media information because that's where they'll be announcing.
Okay. So no, we'll definitely do that.
Awesome.
Wow.
Oh my God, thank you.
You got me like
I promise it genuinely, this is where this nonprofit is changing lives. It is saving lives. It's changing lives. It hits all the boxes of good that we want it to. And it's amazing. And I am good friends with the founder. With the guy who is the face of it and does the work, and who is knee deep in delivering babies.
And I'll tell you what, I'll do one other for you. And again, I'm saying this live on air, so it's recorded, and y'all can hold me to this.
We're gonna hold him to it, guys.
In addition to that, I do out here in the Seattle area, I run a monthly show where I raise money for different charities. Normally, the venue where I do the show gets to pick the charity, but they have let me pick in the past, and I will speak to them about picking Mimsy as a future charity so that we can raise money for them as well. So I will definitely do that because I can tell how passionate you are about this, and this is very important. We're going to do this. We're going to make this happen.
Thank you. It really needs your help. Especially, I know getting back up and running again is going to take a lot of finances. I know they're going to have to do a lot of renovations to the bus. They're going to have to get all their supplies back. It's going to take a lot of work. It's not going to be easy. And that's why, I really want to help them with all of my merch, with my proceeds. I want to help them get back up and running, because it's absolutely the right thing to do. It's these women shouldn't, just because they were born in this country, that doesn't mean that they should be. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't have just as much chance at a life than anybody else. And nor their babies. They just want to have a family. They just want to give birth to a healthy baby. And they should have that chance. And they absolutely should have that chance.
I couldn't agree more. Wow. Our second tradition on this podcast, before I let you go, before you have me tearing up on this mic, is we usually like to ask our guests if they could share a quick childhood story that puts a smile on their face. Like the first thing that comes to mind, anything from your childhood that just makes you smile when you think of it. So this is how you guys know that this part isn't scripted, because some of you guys are accusing me of scripting the stuff. She didn't know that this was going to happen. They never do. I never tell them.
I know that this isn't a specific memory.
Sure.
But it's my first audience. My first audience was my mother. And so she was the first person I made laugh. And that to me and her laugh is so contagious. It's so joyful. Yes. My mom is in her 60s, and she can still experience joy that a 5-year-old would. It's the most contagious, beautiful thing. I love it. And her laughter is just, it's amazing. And I recently had a video on TikTok.
I saw that.
Exactly, went viral because of her laugh. It's over 5 million views, and it's hysterical. That it was her laugh is what is my most viral video now, which I freaking love.
Yeah.
But so for me, my happiest memory are those times where I really got her laughing and I really got her going. And she is totally the reason that I love making people laugh. I love making people laugh. Because, and I run every single joke by her. Because I'm like, I all I care about is like, if I make my mom laugh, I'm fine. Like, then that's good. Like, that's the audience I care about the most. If I make her laugh, I'm fine. And so for me, that's always my happiest memory, is just making my mom laugh.
I thank you so much for sharing with us with that. That is so adorable, honestly.
No, she's
good vibes all around.
I'm very lucky. I have a really good relationship with my mom, and I know that like it's not something that I take for granted at all. It is something that I'm extremely privileged to have, is a good relationship with my mother. And I'm so lucky that not only do I have a good relationship with her, she is insanely supportive of me as a stand-up comedian. If she could, she would come to every single one of my shows. And I would want her to come to every single one of my shows. Like, did you hear that laugh? It's fabulous to have at a show.
No, I did. It's funny, just on a side note, I'm going to let you go in like a second, but it's funny because the two videos that you have referenced happen to be two videos that I have seen on TikTok. With the one with your mom laughing, I did see the video of you, and I think it was Washington Square Park, where you were walking around collecting like data or something like that. Oh,
you got me in a giant sperm costume?
Yeah. Yep, that's the one. So I've seen both of these.
Best purchase on Amazon I ever made. Best purchase on Amazon. It was like, I just like went on Amazon and I was like, there's no way they're going to have it. Adult sperm costume. Bing! And it showed up and I was like, well, I'm purchasing that now. Thank you so much. And then it arrived and my boyfriend did not know that I bought this. He had no idea. So I put it on and he came home and I was just standing there like. And so if you watch the video, you'll see me like being a sperm and asking people, and like for some reason I don't know why it came out this way, but I'm running around Washington Square Park like going like but the first time I came up with that sound was when my boyfriend walked through the door and I ran to him as a sperm making that noise, just going so that's how it started.
Hysterical. All right, before I let you go, two things. Number one, could you remind everyone where they can find you? And also, do you have any last words for our revisionaries?
You can find me at Laura High, High, and then the number 5. So at Laura High 5 everywhere. That's my handle, everything. I'm at Laura High 5. Please follow me on TikTok. And, for always an updated, if you want to come see me do stand-up, my website is www.laurahigh5. You spell out the 5 there. So FIVE.com. And I have a full updated list of shows. I promise. And my last words to the audience is, you're gonna make mistakes. You are going to make, you're gonna make uh-ohs. The uh-ohs are gonna happen. And that's okay. It's fine. Because your biggest uh-ohs can be some of your funniest stories. And, look, there's a difference. There's an uh-oh of messing it up in front of Tina Fey, which is like an uh-oh. And then then there's the uh-oh of drunk driving. Don't do that kind of uh-oh. That's a bad uh-oh. Stick to the funny uh-ohs. But don't worry about making it a butt of yourself. Don't worry about messing up. Everyone messes up. Everyone screws up. And it's totally okay. Just own it. Embrace it, laugh at it, learn from it, and then it doesn't scar you. I could have gone through that and been like, I'm never doing extra burger acting again. I quit. But I didn't. And instead it was oh my God, I think a few months later, I ended up doing stand-in work on The Last OG, and I spent a lot of time with Tracy Morgan, which is a whole different story. Mm-hmm. And that I got invited back onto for a few days in a row for work, which was good. Nice.
Well, on that note, I want to say thank you for joining us on the Revisionary Podcast, and I guess you should say goodbye to the Revisionaries.
Bye, Revisionaries! Enjoy messing up!
The Revisionary Podcast.
I absolutely love that story. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, not only am I also a huge Tina Fey fan, like, I love her. I like how quirky she is, and I love everything Tina Fey has ever done. I don't think I've seen a bad Tina Fey movie. And if it exists, I challenge you guys to, tag me in it so that I can go watch it, and I'll give you my honest opinion. But honestly, that's so cool. And I don't think I would have done any differently. Quite honestly, I sometimes forget how to walk, so that's fine. It happens to all of us, I guess. But, I want to thank Laura again for coming on the show, and I'm serious about my pledge. I'm gonna reach out to her, and we're gonna see if we can make that happen, because I could tell that really means a lot to her. So I want to make sure that I support her organization. And I guess with that being said, as always, Revisionaries, thank you for listening.
This is the